Lots of good cooks and lots of good food and wonderful recipes too. But for a meal that makes folks smile, there's one thing you must do. Cook it with love. Cook it with love. Cook it with love. Love is a great ingredient, the best that we can find. The simplest meal that's cooked with love will nourish humankind. Cook it with love. Cook it with love. Cook it with love.
Hello, and welcome to another cooking show here with Tasha, and today we have our friend Kris.
Hi, thank you, Tasha, for having me on.
Kris is normally the person who is behind the window over there.
That's right.
Making sure that everything looks beautiful, and today we have kindly Steve doing that for us. I have persuaded him to come and cook something on my show.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to
Me
hear
too.
you.
Thank you so
have
much. This
you
is such a
here,
treat.
Kris.
This is great.
He's going to cook something he likes to cook in the summer or any time of year.
Yeah, any time of year.
Any time of year at all.
Absolutely. I like vegetables so much, especially with the springtime coming. I'm looking forward to getting more of these vegetables and cooking them. Some of my favorites, onions, obviously, and I have no preference. I like the Spanish. I like the yellow. I like the white onions. Mushrooms are, mushrooms for me was an acquired taste. I had to get used to it after a while. I think once I cooked mushrooms for the first time, they were sauteed. I loved them. Some red bell peppers, which I really love, and the color on these is great, especially cooking them and getting the full flavor of them.
Right.
And then I brought some garlic too, because garlic, I love it all the time.
Oh, me too. And you know how good it is for you.
Absolutely.
Garlic is probably one of the healthiest things you can ever eat.
It just has such a flavor. I used to work in a restaurant, and they would, in the mornings, they would take a pan and put garlic in, I think they put garlic and olive oil in it, and they would fry it up, and they would run it around the restaurant. So it would be steaming around the restaurant, and it was all in an attempt to get the flavor, to make the restaurant welcoming when people came in, which was really interesting.
Well, now, I read once about a chef who used to do that at his home when he would invite friends over for supper or lunch. He would always cook, whether he was using it or not.
Yeah.
He would cook up some garlic and some onions.
Oh.
Just to have the
aromatics.
The aroma. Yeah. I think it makes people feel good too. I mean, unless of course they're allergic.
Oh, it's so nice. People that come into your house and they smell what you're cooking, whether it's a roast or whether it's turkey or anything. It's great. And these are just some of my favorite. And a lot of it, I think, is because of the aromatics that I get from them, which I really enjoy. So I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. Now, I was going to ask you, first of all, how small you want these chicken pieces, and do you want long strips or do you want...
yeah, I love long strips of chicken.
Okay, long
Something
strips
about it, a lot of times...
now, is this too fat for a long strip?
Oh, that's perfect. I love it.
Oh,
yeah, that's exactly how
I mean, it's going to be longer than that. That was just the side that I cut off.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to cut the meat. Very simple thing here. I'm your sous chef.
This is so much fun to be able to do this. Cooking at my house, when I cook something good, there's no one to really show it to. So I'll take pictures of it. But this is great because, for anyone cooking, simple recipes.
You can always invite me and Steven.
I know. That's invitation is always there. That's right. Has anyone called recently?
No.
No?
No.
Well, they will. I think what's going to happen, now that you guys are on the Facebook and the YouTube.
No one has yet.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We understand. People are busy.
Yeah. But with the springtime coming around, it'd be nice for people to get out more, do stuff. And I think the thing that's great, gardens. Looking forward to planting again this year, which I didn't get to do last year. And this year I'm going to keep it simple and just do tomatoes and maybe some peppers. I did jalapeno peppers 2 years ago. They were so hot, it was unbelievable. So maybe this year I might do. I like hot peppers. Now what we have with the onions like this that I go to the store, I never see them this size. This was one I found. Yeah. So I was really happy. Because there's so many
I don't
nice
think
things.
I could live without onions. I feel so sad for people who can't eat them,
Yeah.
you know?
I never liked them as a kid. I really didn't.
Really?
Didn't like them. I didn't like any vegetables. I didn't.
My
like.
mother didn't serve much in the way of onions, actually, as I recall.
Yeah.
My mother was a very plain cook.
Oh. Yeah,
She didn't really like cooking all that much, you know. She
Yeah.
was an artist, and
Yep.
she liked, you know, doing the art thing, and
Oh yeah.
and that was fine. I mean, she gave us very nourishing meals.
Yep.
It's just that they weren't very interesting.
They weren't really. Yeah. Right. Right.
I had to teach myself to cook, and I like variety.
Yep.
And Stephen loves variety.
Does he? Yeah.
He really enjoys having a good meal.
Well, you know, it's
So-
funny. When I moved into my apartment, I never got around to getting a microwave, and I said, you know, this is a good opportunity for me to learn how to cook, you know, freshly prepared meals using my imagination. You know, and going down to the supermarket and just saying, what vegetables do I like, and how can I incorporate them into a, you know, into a meat
Yeah.
dish?
Well, you've probably heard me say this, but I'm not a microwave person at all.
Oh, okay.
I don't like them. I don't have one,
Yep.
and I don't really want one either.
Right. Right.
I've read enough about things that's how the food loses by being microwaved,
Right.
that I'm just as happy never to have one in my house. Plus, I'm not crazy about the radiation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
There's a
know,
lot
there's that issue too.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
I never liked that whole, some of the microwaves are great, but it just seems that it leads you down a road of getting things that are
Okay,
maybe
let's
not
put
so
this
healthy.
in.
Okay, so we're going with the onions first?
Yep.
Okay, so should I just...
Dump them in.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There we
Careful.
go. Yep. Let me get these. See if I can do this
Just
without...
shake the whole thing in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
My favorite part, putting those in for the first time and getting together.
Oh, and now we get to smell them.
Yes, exactly. Our favorite part. I'm going to move on to the peppers now. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds good.
Okay. And the peppers are always a little bit of a challenge for me, but I think I've got it down to a science now where I will actually just give it a little cut and I'll take it out. Now, the seeds are, I used to do this a long time ago in a restaurant. I was a prep cook.
You were?
So, yep. And
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
yeah, I was
You're already a professional.
yeah, I was a prep cook, and so you learn a lot of the things that, you know, just by being, you know, shown how to do it. So, and seeds
Ooh,
were always
they smell
tough.
so good.
Oh, those look beautiful already. Let me get some nice strips of peppers going on here. I'm just going to move this over a little bit so we can. And again, I'll try to keep them uniform, not too thick. I know that's tough to do sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
But let's see. Yeah, this should be pretty good. Oh, I love peppers. I love them, and I never did before.
Is that right?
Never did. Peppers, mushrooms, onions. I never liked them. Now I love them.
How interesting.
Yeah, because I think I realized the nutritional value, and the flavor just came on its own, where it was, you know. And then I kind of got led into the spicy peppers, like the jalapenos and the habaneros and everything. And so let me ask your opinion, Tasha. What do you think of these slices? You think this is okay?
Looks good to me.
Okay. So you know what? I can actually get, what I'm going to do, if I can, is just get these into the bowl so that people can see just about the size that we're looking at here. Gee, this is fun. I wish I could do this all the time.
Well, maybe you'll do more shows with me.
Oh,
huh?
I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be great. You know, it's funny because I haven't, the last time I went out to even buy anything for the kitchen, appliances or cutlery or anything like that, I can't even remember. Because I've had a knife set for a long time, but I watch these shows like The Iron Chef and I watch Kitchen Impossible, and, you know, it's just so amazing to see what they have.
Well, they've got.
Tools of the trade.
Oh, yeah, but you know something interesting?
Yep.
Someone once came up to me in the supermarket,
Yep.
as sometimes people will do because they've seen the show.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, we really like your show because you don't have any fancy stuff.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it's just an ordinary, you know, kind of, like most people have in their kitchens. And she said that was a heartening thing.
Right.
I thought that was kind of nice because I think of my show as relatively humble.
That's the beauty of it. not only cooking with love, you're cooking with natural ingredients that you can find anywhere. And then you use your imagination to figure out how you want to put them together. It's really great.
Oh, those onions look good.
Oh, they smell wonderful already. And
love them.
You know, it's so grateful to have that you have all this wonderful equipment. And it's funny, it's so true. You don't need all the fancy fancy this and that, and because you were talking, actually, you were talking and mentioned about stainless steel as opposed to using like a covered, I don't know if it's Teflon or whatever.
Yeah, I like stainless steel. Yeah, I like stainless steel, and I like the iron frying pans myself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I'm at home, that's what I'm using all the time, with the exception of if I have a big. Oh, if I'm making Chinese fried rice, for instance.
Oh, you make Chinese fried rice?
I know how to make Chinese fried rice. In fact, I'm not sure if I didn't make it on the show.
Oh.
But it's the trick to making Chinese fried rice is to start with rice you've already cooked and it's been cooled.
So no making rice from fresh and using it for that.
Don't make it. You don't use it fresh. You make it ahead of time and then use it.
Right.
Let's put those peppers in.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Gently get those mixed in there. I love these colors. These colors are great.
Aren't they
These
beautiful?
are springtime colors too. So I'm actually just chopping up a little garlic because another one of my favorite
Garlic
things.
is wonderful.
Oh, I love it.
Well, you can't eat anything better for you.
Yeah.
I have to say,
Yeah.
You can't eat anything that's better for your health.
And it's so versatile. You can use it in so many, I mean, really, you can use it in so many things with tomato sauce, making your own sauce and anything like that.
Yep.
So I'm just going to cut this down. And actually, the way I usually cut my garlic is I'll cut it the long way, thin slices first. And if, from there, I can kind of chop it down to small pieces.
Right.
I know that if you use too much, it becomes almost overpowering.
Well, in my book, you can't use too much garlic. But then I have a husband who loves it. So.
Yeah, right. I use it all the time when I make my own sauce. My mom's recipe, which came from my grandmother in Italy, she made kind of the flagship recipe for sauce, and then from there, But there were no dishes with onions and peppers in them for my family. It's all just basic lasagna, pasta, sauce. So the emphasis was all on that.
Really?
I'm just going to trim these down a little bit here. I know I don't need too much, but I'm going to get these in.
You put in all you want as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. It's the smell of it. It's just so good, and it gives it such a good flavor.
Yep, but it's also so good for you. Do you know that garlic has both antibiotic and antiviral properties?
No kidding.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Seriously.
I think I saw. I know Larry King used to do advertisements for it all the time, and I think it was a supplement. But I can't imagine supplementing garlic.
Oh, well, you can, because if you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure, garlic is a stabilizer, one way or the other, like ginseng.
Yep.
Ginseng and garlic both help to stabilize blood pressure.
In garlic, as opposed to getting it fresh like this and cutting it up, as opposed to getting it minced when it comes in the little jar.
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
You'd rather it fresh like this?
I'd rather it was fresh.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it's okay if it's minced in the little jars, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And furthermore, you don't get the love you put into it when you've chopped it up,
Exactly.
I mean, that's one of my themes, after all. It's the love that you put into your food that makes it taste extra good.
Right, absolutely. And I don't think a lot of the people that kind of rush on a given night to go out and get something end up getting frozen food, like a Hungry Man dinner or something. I mean, it's just, you're not getting the nutritional value, but you're also not getting a lot of the, like you said, a lot of the fun of cooking it. So my garlic's all cut up. All I have left to cut up is just my mushrooms.
Good.
So I will start on those, and I'm not sure when I should
put the garlic in.
Okay. Some nice garlic in here. Right. Oh, this is going to smell great. I know it.
It already does.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to smell even greater.
When the onions start caramelizing, too, it takes a lot of patience to get through it, and know that you put them on, don't put them on a high heat right off the bat, because that's going to be dangerous for them. But to bring it up to a nice caramelization, I think, is really great. It is. And then there's so many wonderful, wonderful dishes you can make. So I'm going to start. Oh, the mushrooms. I love mushrooms. And it took me so long to get into them, especially the different varieties where you've got your standard mushrooms, but then you've got portobellas, you've got shiitakes, you've got, and I really become partial to the portobello mushrooms. love them.
Yeah, oh, I do too.
They just got a flavor.
They're yummy.
A flavor
They
above
are
and
yummy.
beyond. Okay. So.
They are tasty.
I'm just going to cut these off. Oh, this brings me back to my prep days. And
oh, goody, I hope you'll make more shows with me, because I love making shows with friends. I really do.
Oh,
I like cooking with friends, and I always have.
Oh, so much fun, especially when you have a gathering over your house, people come over.
Yeah, really.
And the funny thing is that if you don't pre-prepare your food when you have guests over, I find when they show up, everybody wants to help out. Everyone wants to get a hand in it. What can I do? How can I help?
Yep.
And I think that's kind of a challenge for most cooks, because most cooks work independently sometimes, and they are just used to doing everything themselves. So sometimes it's tough when people want to help out because you're not really sure what to delegate them to do. But that's why when I have guests, I try to make simple recipes. Baked ziti. You know, if I have a cookout, I'll definitely do some marinated chicken. And on the grill, I love marinating.
We didn't. I thought maybe we had a spatula somewhere.
Yeah, well, there's that one. I can take a look.
A real spatula.
Oh, a real one. Let me take a look in the...
I thought there was one in there, but look and see.
Well, I'll take a double look, see if we got one in there. Might. No, I don't see one in there.
Oh, okay. Maybe I brought it home.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Chicken's already cooking.
Yeah, well, I'm browning it.
Great.
You know.
And the mushrooms, the funny thing about mushrooms, too, that I noticed is that I never think when I go to buy them that I'm going to use the whole container of them. But it's so funny, when they cook down, they shrink so much.
Yeah, they do. They really shrink up.
So in the order of things, would you think that these would end up going towards the end because they cook so fast?
Right, I would think.
That's right.
I would think. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just browning the meat.
Okay.
And then I'm going to push it off on top of the vegetables and then put on some more.
Okay.
We have quite a bit here to work with.
Okay, great.
We've got plenty of food here for
that's
everybody.
Great.
Be able to feed. Maybe we can even feed passers-by, you know.
Oh, boy. Yeah, these are... I love meals that you have to really think about and say, what flavors do I want to combine? You know, what am I looking to get out of it? And I think that's the best part of it. So I'm just going to put my mushrooms in there so people can see.
I'm going to add a little bit more oil for the chicken.
Sure. Well, this is great. We're really doing good on getting everything together. This looks absolutely beautiful.
Now,
onions are beautiful. Now we got the chicken going in. And beautiful mushrooms to follow. And again, with the garlic, I find I don't really use too much because the flavor is so good to begin with.
Now, did you want to add some of your herbs? You have some herbs over here.
I brought some herbs today.
I do not use salt when I start my cooking.
Oh, you don't?
No, because my husband has high blood pressure, and so I salt my food after.
Oh, okay.
I tend to.
Oh, great.
But if you want to use salt, please do.
I'm actually okay with or without it.
Okay.
I like the fact that the flavors of the onions and the peppers and the mushrooms will bleed into that.
Yeah.
Speaking of salt, you know, that's funny. I used to make these antipasto salads, and they had prosciutto on them. And we talk about salt content, and wow, I never realized how salty prosciutto ham is.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, it's got a delicious flavor to it, but I mean, I can imagine that is giving you, just even a little bit is giving you your daily allowance of sodium for the day.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well, you know, salt is good. Some salt is always important in the diet.
Yeah.
It's very important for digestion, for one thing.
Right.
Animals seek out salt.
Yep.
So, because they need it for their bodies.
Yeah.
But
I like the concept of not using it if you don't have to use it.
Right.
I like the concept of maybe a little pepper, and maybe, like I said, today I brought a wide variety. These are the spices I use the most. Onion powder. I like onion powder. Just a little different variety of a flavor. Basil, oregano, my two favorites, because I use them. I use them independently. Now with chicken, what I'll do is a lot of times I'll get these split chicken breasts, and I will put them in a roasting pan like you would with a turkey pan, lid on it, and then all I'll do, I won't add salt. I won't add pepper. All I'll do is put some basil on it, and then maybe I'll cook it a week later and just put oregano on it. Oh, once those aromas start filling the kitchen of basil or oregano, oh, it's great. Now, I don't put both on. I either do one or the other. I haven't tried it with both. But, so I'm thinking for this one, maybe just a little bit of onion powder.
Sounds good to me. Bit. Hey, you're the chef.
Oh, okay. So I'll go.
You're the chef. Don't ask me.
See if we can find this.
I'm only your sous chef.
So you know what? I'm happy to say let's put the salt aside. I have no problem because you're right. There's going to be so many great flavors in there. I got the oregano.
I often will add my own a little bit of salt to perk it up sometimes if I need it.
Well,
now we can put in those mushrooms. Now, see, the chicken is all nicely brown.
Okay, so this is my onion powder and
Let's put in the mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms time. All right.
You can put in your whatever else you're putting in. That's
I'll just put a little pepper in there. And I know I've been using this for a good enough amount of time that I know how it comes out. I know that the volume of it is what it is. That's just a little pepper. Just a hint. You know, I hate to overdo it with anything.
Yeah, pepper's good.
Onion powder fascinates me because it's just, you know, we have onions in there, but onion powder that they have here has, I think, a couple other unique little spices in there that just make it. So I'm going to put just a little bit of that. And I don't use this too often. I rarely use onion powder. Maybe it'll kick up the onions that are already caramelized. And if I had to choose between the two.
Oh, use them both.
Use them both?
You don't have to choose.
Oh, that's great.
Basil and oregano are natural partners.
We don't have to choose between oregano or basil. We're going to use them both. I love basil.
Right.
I love it. Now, this is something I'd like to grow this year, is basil.
Yeah, you can.
This is, I don't often have fresh basil, but when we used to serve it in the restaurants, you realize the difference between the two.
See,
nothing's better than fresh. I'm just going to go
see how look at this. This is wonderful.
Look how great those onions came out.
Yeah, really tasty.
Beautiful. Oh, and the mushrooms are already starting to caramelize on their own there.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to go a little light.
Nice.
Oh, this is
put
wonderful.
As much. I like.
Yeah, I think it's a little held up at the end.
When people say a recipe, they say a half a teaspoon of dried basil.
Yeah.
Like, what? You know.
That's
I could use a tablespoon.
I know, because the basil really gets to the flavor. I'm just going to go a little more.
Great flavor.
Yeah, the spices, especially where we're not marinating the chicken.
Right.
The spices.
This is looking very good.
Oh, it does. It looks beautiful. And it's so natural. It's so, there's no MSG in here. There's no,
certainly not.
You know.
Frightening stuff.
In fact, you know, it's meals like this that I eat. And after I eat them, I don't feel like I just had Burger King, or I don't feel like you know.
Yeah, you feel better.
My body says, all right, that's good. We like it.
We got something good here.
So this is a little bit of the oregano, which of course I love very much.
Good stuff. And you know something?
Yeah.
Oregano is good for the heart.
Is it? Oh, great.
Basil is good for the liver.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it is.
That's great. And it's just a wonderful combination of everything. But, oh, you know, the blending of the mushrooms and the onions.
Look at what's happening here.
Yeah.
See how there's kind of a little gravy, bit of a gravy forming?
Sure, yeah.
With between the meat and the mushrooms.
Yes. Oh, it's great.
And the peppers and the onions.
And we're cooking this at 250.
Yeah, we're cooking this at 250, right. Any higher than that, it'll start to burn.
Yeah. It's almost like you're not rushing it. You're saying, you know, cook as you need to.
But, you know, the other thing, too, is if you cook it too high, then your liquid won't stay. I mean, it'll come out, but then it'll go right away again because it'll evaporate.
Oh, okay.
So when you turn the heat down and just let it simmer a little, it'll simmer in its own juices very nicely.
Now, you mentioned chicken broth as a possible additive to include.
Now you could add a little chicken broth here, and that would taste good. We could add a little water.
Sure.
And make more broth.
Yeah, sure.
So if we had chicken broth, we would add that, and it would add a bit more flavor.
Oh, look at that! I love that when it cools down right after you do it.
But you know, but now we've just put in a little. But
and the spices will be included in that broth too.
Yeah, and so now we're going to have a little bit of a broth here, and then we're going to put the lid on and let it cook.
Okay, well we got about 5 minutes I think left to get this together. Wait, we did really good on time. By the way, the thing I love about this, if you look, and this is unlike any skillet lid I've seen. I love this. They have little ventilating covers on them.
Yeah. You can let out the heat.
Yeah, so you can let it out, and already look at the steams coming out of that, which is great. This was a great find, Tasha.
You know, it's funny. I think they still sell them, actually. And if I had a big enough kitchen, I might even get one, because you can make a one-dish meal in it. Yeah. And it's cooler than using your stove, you know.
And this one's actually deeper than some of the ones that you'll see that they sell. The skillets nowadays that they have are actually about that deep. This is one of the deepest ones I've seen. Yeah. So you can tell
this is made so that you can make all kinds of things in it. Soup, stews, you know.
Pancakes.
Different kinds of, it suggests even popcorn. It tells you you can make popcorn.
Oh, that's something I've never made. I've never made popcorn from scratch like that. No, I always bought it in the microwavable container, but since I don't have a microwave, I guess I'd have to do it that way, which is fine.
No, you don't need one of these. What you do with popcorn, what you do is take a pot with a heavy bottom.
Okay. Yep.
And a lid.
Yep.
Important.
Yeah.
And then you put a little film of oil on the bottom, not too much.
Yep.
And then you heat that.
Yeah. Right.
And you pour in maybe a couple tablespoons. You don't need much because it's going to expand.
Oh,
you know?
right. Sure.
Couple, 3 tablespoons of popcorn.
Yep.
Then put your lid on.
Yep.
And start shaking it.
Okay. Right.
And you shake it.
Yeah.
And then you'll hear it. It'll start to go pop.
Oh,
pop,
okay.
Pop.
So popping.
And keep shaking and keep shaking until the popping stops.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Take the lid off, and there's your popcorn. It's all made.
I just learned. Yeah, I just learned how to make popcorn. That's great.
But you know, in the old days, I don't know if you ever did, but they used to make a basket like this with a long handle that you held over the fire.
Right.
And with a lid on it. And you could put your popcorn in there and hold it over the fire and
like
pop
the Jiffy
it that
Pop?
way.
Is that what it was?
Oh,
this was the actual.
I'm talking actual fire.
Okay,
actual fire, like a campfire.
Yeah, right.
Or in the olden days when they didn't have, you know, stoves.
Yeah, yeah.
Over your fireplace.
Over the fireplace.
But my great aunt she had a Girl Scout troop.
Yeah.
And so at her camp where she had a beach camp. Yeah. And she had one of these. I remember it from when I was a child.
Right.
I never popped popcorn in one, but I knew about it.
That's great. So this is really doing really good.
Yeah, look at it.
A couple minutes left to. Oh, look at that! Yeah, the juices came out great. The broth is right there.
It's really good.
Oh, this is going to be great. And you know, it's nice. I understand now. The water actually too will cool down.
Look. See?
Yep, that chicken's cooked perfectly.
The chicken has cooked through.
Perfect. That is great.
And I just give it a couple more minutes to absorb the flavors, and we're going to have lunch.
Oh, I can't wait. So excited. This has been great. I've really enjoyed this, Tasha.
Oh, this is wonderful.
I want to come back on and cook something else.
Oh, good.
Maybe I'll even be able to bring something from my garden sometime during the spring and the summer. So this is wonderful.
That'll really be fun.
And again, simple meals, you know, using fresh vegetables. And thank you, Tasha, for showing me and being able to use. Thank you for providing us with the cooking equipment. This is great.
I am thrilled that you came on my show.
Well, thank you very much.
Thrilled to have done the show.
Oh, and I look forward to doing this again. Thank you all again. Chicken, roasted peppers, and vegetables.
Bye for now, and see you the next time.
Lots of good cooks and lots of good food and wonderful recipes too. But for a meal that makes folks smile, there's one thing you must do. Cook it with love. Cook it with love. Cook it with love.